Hey, how you going? Yeah, that was the question. What is the difference between a standard distillation, fractional distillation, fractionated, or fracking? There's the questions. Now, it has come up a few times, and people with a little bit of knowledge actually end up becoming their own worst enemy because it's not clear. So, what does Young Living do? First off, what does the word fractionated usually mean? You're all going to say, oh, fractionated coconut oil. Correct. Have you ever heard of the terminology fractionated essential oil? The answer is no. You don't ever hear of that. But you do hear of fractionated coconut oil. You never hear of fractionated essential oils. But you do hear of fractional distillation. You hear that terminology in essential oils. You never hear it as a fractional distillation of coconut oil. That doesn't happen. You also heard the word fracking. Now, you don't hear of anyone fracking an essential oil, and you don't hear anyone fracking a coconut oil. But you do hear of people fracking to get natural gas. So what's all this? What are all these terminologies? Well, first off, fracking means to fracture, and they use a liquid in a rock. They inject it into a rock, and it shatters it and extracts the gas so they can collect the natural gas. That's what you call fracking. Now, when you fractionate something, you're actually extracting a component, which is the long chain fats, out of the coconut oil, which actually allows it to stay liquid at room temperature. So that's fractionated. So it's fractionated coconut oil. That's good for the what do you call it, beauty industry, because the product doesn't go solid at room temperature. It's good, quite absorbable to the skin, not to the blood, but it's absorbable to the skin. Okay, so I wouldn't actually want to cook with it, or eat that type of coconut oil. It's not a poison, but it's just, I just wouldn't do it. So what would you ever use that in essential oil distillation? The word fracking or fractionated? The answer is no. You cannot fractionate an essential oil. But you can have a fractional distillation of an essential oil. And you then can have a standard distillation. Now, standard distillation is what Young Living does, has always done, and will always do. Fractional distillation, Young Living will never do. All essential oil companies are going to have a fractional distillation process because they connect what they call a fractionating column. If I could draw a picture of a fractionated column, it's very different to a standard distillation. Standard distillation is simply a flask with either the shrub, the plants, the leaves, or whatever is in it. It's heated. The steam gets generated. It simply comes up through a glass tube which has water going in and out, which is keeping the temperature correct, so that it condenses the liquid so you get the essential oil out at the bottom. Okay. Now, when you actually use if you wanted to fractional distillate an oil, you would use what they call a fractionating column. You would put in the top of that wherever you stored the product to be distilled, and the steam goes up into this fractionating column, and then it's got sections in it that pre-cool it and drop it back down to another level, and then it pre-cools it again and drops it down to another level, and do that from 6 to 8 stages until it gets to the bottom again. It's very highly refined, and then the liquid comes out the top at the same process as standard distillation. So when you do that, you're actually getting more of the product out, and you can get it out faster, and you can then extract different materials off at different levels, because they can put little taps at each one of that in those columns of that fractionating column, so you can get different parts out example, lavender oil. Now with lavender oil, you put that through a fractionating column, and you can distill off the camphor from your lavandin, because there's about 22% camphor in lavandin. There's only about 0.05% camphor in lavandula angustifolia. So you could turn lavandin into lavandula angustifolia by putting it through a fractionating column, because you can then extract at that point that particular volatile liquid, which will distill at a different rate to the rest of the 280 components that are in lavender. So that way you can take off linalool at a certain point if you wanted to. You can take off linalool at a certain level. All the different phenols and the esters and the aldehydes can all have different evaporating points. So you can, if you wanted to, you can strip an oil of all its components and recreate it very easily in a lab. The minute you do that, you cause an interference pattern within the frequency of the distillation process, which means you lose the vibrational harmony that allows the human organism to resonate with it. So in answer to the question, does Young Living ever do fractional distillation? The answer is categorically you would have to be numbnuts to actually do that in a product that we actually distill, because it destroys the frequency. You can have the same smell, it'll look the same, it'll act the same, it'll do everything the same, but the body won't be able to read the frequencies. Doesn't work. So the difference is standard distillation is what Young Living does. Young Living cannot fractional distillate. So you can do that 2 or 3 times as well, and you're going to get a lot more out, but the vibration is not going to be correct, and you can do it quite fast. Fractionated coconut oil is taking the higher, the longer chains out, which stops it going hard. So at room temperature or any temperature, it'll stay liquid. And then the difference then is fracking, which is what I explained a minute ago with using liquids to smash a rock. And also in the oil industry, they also use the word cracking, not fracking or fractionating or fractional or standard distillation. They're all different words, but used for different industries. So it's a complex subject, but I hope that can clear up some confusion in this area, because Young Living will not do it. All other oil companies will do it, because it's all about profit and money, and no one's going to know the difference. The only part of your body that will know the difference is your organs. They will know, because you'll have healing in a different way, a safe way. Okay, that's it for me. I will talk to you later. On Wednesday, I'm doing a talk on some chemistry of blends. Okay, bye.